What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about this dude right here, Peter Cottontail, aka Razelvarg. So the fusion starts tomorrow, I believe, and I wanted to get this video out in case you're on the fence about actually going for the fusion. So this is the test server. First things first, I want to say thank you to Plarium for allowing me access to the test server, and thank you all for subscribing to the channel, liking it, and following me along so I can actually have access to the test server. Very much appreciated. Obviously, this team right here, we have Cardiel, Venus, and Krisk. The three Void legendary champions, not easy to get. But this is a team that I'm actually going to be using on the live servers once I go for the Razelvarg fusion. I've pretty much decided I'm going to go for him. This team's been 100% auto so far and really hasn't had massive issues. Honestly, some of the biggest issues was when Razelvarg died. When he died, we lost the leech debuff and my healing dropped significantly. I cannot express to you guys how beneficial having leech up basically the entire time is. I mean, it heals champions such a significant amount of HP whenever they're doing damage with the War Master procs. It is so good. I mean, Necmo Thar, for example, he brings the increased speed, he brings the decreased speed, he brings the decreased attack, and he brings leech. Necmo is an amazing champion, there's no doubt about it. He stuck to my Nightmare Hydra team. I have no dupe copy of him, so Razelvarg, not really a substitute by no means for Necmo, but Razelvarg does bring an increased speed and increased accuracy, which are both amazing, but also brings that leech. So as long as you can fit in a decreased attack, a decreased speed, you're going to be in a really good spot. And not only that, Razelvarg actually hits pretty daggone hard. Now, he's currently in a lethal build, which was usually on my Rhodos, but I decided to switch that over to Razelvarg. There's tons of different ways you can build him. You can put him in provoke gear for the chance to place the provoke on the Head of Decay, because he does 2 AoE abilities, crazy amounts of speed, tons of turns, so you're going to place him pretty often. Put him in provoke gear. Relentless is something else I tried for a while. You could put him in regular damage dealing gear, lethal gear. I'm going to try to showcase some of his damage because honestly, he ramps up really fast as far as over the course of the battle. We're at the end of the run now, and Razelvarg did 10.4 million damage. Venus with HP burns did 9.4. Royal Guard with max HP hits did 9.3. Krisk with Brimstone did 1.7. Razelvarg has no Brimstone. If we would have had Brimstone, that would have been that much better. Honestly, I'm very impressed with his damage. Very impressed. Now, keep in mind, I do have some pretty decent damage dealing gear on him. But I do think even if you switched it to, say, Relentless with good crit damage, good speed, good attack, he's still going to hit pretty hard and do pretty well. So the gear I currently have on him is lethal plus some speed. So we have okay HP, pretty good attack, defense, not so great, but he gets so many turns. That leech is so helpful. We have good amount of speed. Honestly, I'd rather 250 plus, but this has been okay so far. We have good crit damage. This is basically my Rhodos' build, switched over to Razelvarg. As far as the accuracy goes, we have a decent amount, ideally enough to, after the increased accuracy, actually place our debuff or our leech onto the Hydra. As far as the skills, test server, so obviously it's fully booked. And as far as masteries go, we have War Master. Of course, we want War Master. We want as many procs of that as possible. Let me try to get out of the way. Like I said, this is the test server, so things are going to change likely once we go into live server. But as far as the support tree, I picked up some buff. When the buffs fall off, we have a chance of boosting our turn meter. We're going to be taking so many turns, okay? So the likelihood of the debuffs falling off the enemy is much lower than the likelihood of the buffs falling off of me. So we went rapid response. We also picked up some buff extension as well as debuff extension. This rabbit is going to be able to keep up that increased speed, increased accuracy so well. The leech is going to stay up majority of the time as well, unless he gets eaten. If he gets eaten, then it's going to take a little while for him to, get the leech back applied. But honestly, in Hydra, I think leech is a very underrated debuff. It brings so much extra healing to the team that I think once you bring it, you're not really going to want to go back to a different team without it. I mean, Necmo Thar has leech, and while he has tons of other amazing things inside of his kit, the leech debuff is absolutely incredible. I mean, it's like wearing a lifesteal set basically on your champions, but you're not actually wearing a lifesteal set. So there's Razelvarg as far as Hydra goes. I don't want to overhype this champion though. I do think I'm going to go for the fusion unless it's some crazy requirements. I don't have many shards on my live account. So as far as like how easily I can get it, if the requirements are decent, which we should know tomorrow, then I'm going to go for him. Assuming they're okay, I'm going to go for him. And I think most people should go for him. I mean, his kit is very unique. It's very interesting, and it actually has legit uses. Tons of speed, speed fiend for sure, attack and speed, scaling on all of his abilities, AoE attacks on 2 of his abilities, Better chance to proc stuns, provokes, or even sleeps if you're running that for whatever reason, and whatever content. So provoke set, stun set can both work very well in this champion, especially for dungeon progression. Now, as far as his damage, I don't know his multipliers yet, but I do want to get into some content and check out how hard he actually hits. So let's do a little damage test for Razelvarg. Jump in here to the dragon and see what he hits for, just to get an idea. I'm not going to do a comparison with him just yet. I do want to do a comparison with him a little bit later. I want to see his multipliers because we don't got that information yet that I know of. So his A3 hit him pretty decent. Can't really tell what the numbers say. So looking here, 628,000 damage. We're going to try it again. He's not one-shotting the waves. One thing to keep in mind though is since he scales with speed, and every time he places an increased speed, he increases his speed by 5. Okay, it stacks up to 100. So as the match goes on, he's going to be doing more and more damage because his abilities scale off of his speed. So increased speed, increased attack are going to make him hit a lot harder, which is great because you're probably going to be bringing those into most situations. And as long as you have increased attack, he provides his own increased speed. His A2 ability hit for, let's see, 492,000. Pretty respectable. Nothing crazy. I'm not going to be one-shotting the wave, not going to be your solo wave clear champion, but he's going to hit a respectable amount of damage. Let's go ahead and jump into the arena, try him out a few times, and get a little bit maybe better idea for him, okay? It's kind of difficult in test server to really test him out because a lot of players have some pretty crazy teams. We'll go against Nubraid's team. Let's see. I don't know if I'm faster, though. If I'm not faster, it's going to be a bad test. 359. I think I might have to make a little bit of an adjustment real quick. Let's get my my secret special helmet on my Arbiter real quick. Actually, check this out. We got a quad roll 29 plus 3 stone skin helmet, making my Arbiter 391. So a little bit better gearing now. Let's go Kymar. I don't know if he's actually speed tuned either. 289. Lydia is faster. So hey, let's see how this goes. It could be an absolute disaster, but let's see if he maybe one-shots everybody. That'd be sweet. So Kymar comes in, does get the sleep off. We're going to do not the decreased defense and weaken because if I did that, Yumiko's going to wake up and she's just going to kill me. That's really all there's going to be to that because I'm not actually speed tuned, I don't think. So hitting with his A3 first. Let's see what he hits for. Boom. He hits for pretty high damage. I mean, granted, this team's not a go second team, not a super tanky team, but we did one-shot them all. 60k on all the champions, and we didn't have any decreased defense or weaken. No Helm Smasher, so it's just War Master, typical Hydra build, alongside lethal plus speed gear. We hit for 159,000 damage. Granted, that is determined based on the enemy's HP. Let's go against Cinda. I'm not for sure if we're faster than this team. Not for sure. Probably not. Okay, we are. Sweet. All right, gonna try to sleep. There we go. Got the sleep off. Now, we can use the A2 possibly, but then we take a risk of Nishak doing stuff. You know, let's YOLO. Let's do the A2 ability. Does our dude get a turn? We're gonna do another turn meter boost. Let's see. We'll try the A2 this time. The A2, we already have increased speed. We have increased attack. So the A2, I'm not for sure which one hits harder though. Let's see. So A2, yo, that actually smacked pretty hard. We do have decreased defense. We do have weaken, increased attack, and increased speed. So it's going to be kind of the top of his damage threshold as far as this gear and everything. He hits pretty hard. Like I said though, the gear I have on this champion is some of my better good speed lethal gear. So take that for what you may. Against these teams that are probably pretty tanky, this is going to be a terrible example. We have force champions, very tanky champions, probably reaction gear as well. So you wouldn't bring this team against this enemy team, right? This is just kind of stupid, to be honest. Let's see how it works, though, for the heck of it. Actually hit harder than I expected. May need a Necrit in here to actually, you know, survive this Mountain King's hits that are about to come in. I'm not going to use, actually we could. I don't use Kymar enough to actually remember that he has that A3 reset. We can just reset. Do we need to reset? Yeah, sure. Why not? Right? Increase attack. And then we will, the first time I hit with the A3, let's hit with the A2 this time. Let's see if anything different happens. It is nice having that triple hit on the A1 as well, because you can just basically ignore Ultimate Death Knight. Because a triple hit on the A1 is going to allow you to just, you know, hit Ultimate Death Knight once, and the next two hits are going to go on whatever champion you target. I'll give you an example of that, okay? So here we go. We're going to use Razelvarg once his turn gets back. Hopefully, he doesn't get the fear proc. So the first hit, okay, well, you can't really see it there. Boost some turn meter. We shouldn't need the res. Lydia's going to block their res anyways. So the first hit will go to UDK, and the next two should go to Duchess. Let's see how that works. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we didn't do much damage. It was all to her shield. We have no increased speed, no increased attack. So let's try that one more time. Block the damage, get some increased speed. Now let's try it. So the first hit should go to UDK, and the next two should go to Duchess. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, there we go. 13,000 damage twice. Pretty decent. Nothing super crazy though. Like, we're not going to be Kandrafon levels of damage by no means, but okay amount, I'd say. Especially considering as the match goes further and further, he's going to do more and more damage. Not a champion though that I'd be bringing into many go second matches for sure. Let's go ahead and use this A3 ability. Get him to play some increased speed, because remember, his damage only is increased based on the increased speed that he places. So when Lydia's placing increased speed, if you have a Necmo running alongside him placing increased speed, those champions are not increasing his damage based on his passive ability. It's only the increased speeds that he places, as far as I'm aware. Let's go ahead, get back to his turn, and try this again. See, it says each increased speed buff placed by this champion. So we'll use the A2, hopefully not get feared, and of course, we got feared. It seems like Mortu procs peril 100% of the time against you. You get feared or true feared 100% of the time, it activates. That's just how it is. That's RNG and raid. Try the A2 ability. Should kill Duchess. Almost. 19,000. So as far as his damage goes, against champions like that, super tanky champions, it's going to be difficult. Duchess reduces AoE damage anyways. So it is what it is. We're going to get through it. We're going to kill her. There we go. Ultimate Death Knight. Okay hits. Definitely some okay hits. We're going a little bit slow. We could have already killed the Duchess just because of the A1 shenanigans that I was doing. We're going to go ahead and get the res here. Just kidding. We're not going to get the res. We're going to get completely destroyed, and we're going to back out of the match. So there you go. The team, decent damage from Razelvarg. Let's see what he did. 331. Okay, so not too bad. We had a bad matchup. I knew that going into it. Duchess, 2 Mountain Kings. Pretty good counter for my setup. Plus high resistance on the Duchess as well as the Lydia, I think. Or maybe the Mountain King. We got some resist. But either way, the champion can hit fairly hard. Depending on what nukers you have on your account, could be your main nuker. He does place Leech, so you do have to worry about the polymorphs and such. But as far as a champion who, is he worth it to go for in the Fusion? Honestly, I think he has a unique enough kit that makes it viable and worth going for. I think Hydra, he has some pretty good uses, especially if you don't have extra copies of Necmo Thar. Don't get me wrong though, this dude is not a replacement for Necmo. If you have Necmo, use him. But if you don't have Necmo, this guy is going to keep increased speed up for you basically the entire match. He's going to keep up the Leech, which Leech is a debuff that, man, it is so good. Especially if you have a hard time finding healers that can also work in Hydra. Maybe you don't have Cardiel. Maybe you don't have Elva. Maybe you don't have really good viable healers. The Leech debuff is going to be very good, especially when paired with champions with War Master. So he brings the Leech. He brings some good damage on his A1 ability. Great turn meter boost. Gets so many turns. So it's good in Hydra. A unique kit. And can kind of do some damage. So if you need some wave control as well, put him in a stun set, put him in a provoke set. I think I'm going for him. Like I said, this is all assuming the fusion requirements are not anything crazy. If they're crazy, if it's like you got to do both summoning events, if you don't do both summoning events, you miss one rare champion, you're completely out of the fusion, then I may not go for it. That's very likely, better yet, how it's going to be. Unfortunately, Plarium's been on a kick of making the fusions pretty difficult. So I guess we'll see in time. If it's relatively achievable, I'm going to go for him. I'm going to try to actually get this champion. He's going to be fun to play with, and I think he will legitimately make it into my Brutal Hydra team, which I have pretty good options for champions, but a champion who makes it pretty accessible to do full auto Brutal. Now, in my actual team, I'm going to build the champions to a higher caliber. I'm going to build them better, and I may adjust some more champions around him, but it's going to be very similar to the team that I showed you all earlier, which did like 34 million damage. The top chest on Brutal is 29. So that team wasn't like above and beyond the Brutal 1 key, but if you adjust the gear of the champions, adjust the presets, it's going to be more than a 1 key, really without too much difficulties. Honestly, he can fit into Nightmare, but I have Necmo Thar on Nightmare. So I tried a team with him earlier. It did like 25 million damage, this same setup. So a little bit away from the 1 key. I think it's 36 million, so about 10, 15 million-ish away. But either way, guys, hopefully you enjoy the video. Maybe it helps you out with deciding if you're going to go for Razelvarg or not. I'll be making some more videos as it gets closer to his actually achieving the fusion, finishing the fusion. So let me know what you guys want to see on this champion. If you want to see anything else tested. With that said, thank you all very much for watching. Thank you all for all of the support, and I'll catch you all in the next video.